Hello and welcome to today's show. I'm Dana Kennedy, AARP State Director, and AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live and how they age. With a nationwide presence in nearly 38 million members across the nation and approximately 900,000 in Arizona, AARP strengthens community and advocates for what matters most to families, health security, and financial stability and personal fulfillment. In the month of January, we're focusing on work and jobs to help experienced workers and job seekers to get where they want to be. AERP offers effective resources and innovative tools, spotlights employers and valued experienced workers, and confronts age discrimination in the workplace. Whether you're kicking off a job search or looking to advance your career, sometimes a fresh perspective is all you need to break through. Re-energize yourself and learn how to apply your skills in ways you've never considered. At AARP Work and Jobs, you'll find innovative tools and tips for experienced workers. It's a whole new way to jumpstart your job search or to help accelerate your career. Visit aarp.org/work. Some of our offerings include the AARP Resume Advisor, which offers tips to make your resume stand out, the AARP Job Board, where you can search for available jobs, and virtual events like the upcoming Online Career Expo on January 28th at 11 a.m. Arizona time. By participating in Career Expo, you can discover skills that could help you get a job, connect with a career coach, an AARP expert, and access tools and resources to boost your skills to stay competitive. To register, visit your screen chat. And thank you again. And we'll turn this over to Sherry Ann Little. Sherry Ann, how are you today?
I am great, Dana. How are you today?
Good. Now, what did you do this weekend? I heard you had an exciting weekend.
I decided to go visit the Grand Canyon.
I love the Grand Canyon.
It draws me. It's just the majestic nature of it and just the geological formation that it is and the stories behind it. And so I decided to run to the North Rim and back to the South Rim and just be in nature and like be really humbled by nature, because that is one place that you can if you truly just take it in, it really humbles you because it's just so huge.
It's beautiful. And I was out running this morning and I felt a little rain. When I got back, I was all wet. So
Finally, yes.
finally. So what are we going to talk about today?
Today, we are going to talk about creating a healthy workspace because very many people are still working from home and it looks like they're going to be doing that for quite some time. And I know that people have been working from home, and have kind of done this makeshift, trying to just make it work because hoping that there's going to be an end in sight and that they will return to their place of work, but it's just so unknown. And so to really just focus on creating a healthy workspace for you so that you can be productive, because I do believe that a lot of people have just been kind of operating and functioning off of like just temporary, and instead of making it be temporary, let's really address what we can do to make it a healthy and productive workspace from home.
Well, I know I started out in my home office, which is also my workout room. And I felt so claustrophobic because I don't have a view and I just basically looked out into a brick wall. And so I have a beautiful guest room that has a beautiful view of the mountain and Piestewa Peak. So I actually moved my office to my guest room because I don't have anybody staying at my house right now. So I figured if I'm going to be working from home, I might as well be working from home with a beautiful view.
Right. Well, not only the view, but just giving you a very designated space. I mean, that's the one thing that's the top tip is separate your work space from your life space. Too many people are just making these makeshift places on their couch, in their living room or on their dining room table. And it's so much better if you can just designate a workspace. And I know that's challenging for everyone. Not everyone has like a guest room that they can turn into an office. But even if you're using a space within your house, like that's also being cohabitated by either somebody else or it's being used by something else, just still designate a workspace. And it's challenging for people like me because I have 3 children at home and they're doing online schooling. So having each one having their own designated workspace presents a lot of challenges. So if you have a partner at home, a spouse, roommate, children, parent, somebody that you're also trying to work around. Like, it does make it challenging, but do your best to separate your work from your life so that when you go into that space to work, you know you're there to work and that's it. And it's amazing how many people, though, will just stay in their room. Like, they'll just take their laptop and go pop in their bed and work from there. Or they'll sit on the couch. And it's like, you can't be productive when you're sitting in that kind of space, because your brain is like, wait, I'm supposed to be chilling out here. Like, this is where I hang out. I'm not supposed to be working. And so really just designate a workspace. It's for work only. Don't stay in the bedroom, and don't eat where you're going to work. Like, that's one big thing. Like, when you get up to have breakfast, like, be done with breakfast and then go work. Don't take your breakfast with you to wherever you're going to work. And when it's time to take a break for lunch, take a break. Walk away from your workspace, go eat in a separate space, and then you can go back to work. So those are the two things that people tend to like just kind of just let be okay. Like, just, they're like, well, it'll be okay. I can work here, I can eat here, I can hang out here. But no, just really designate that separated workspace.
I'm totally guilty of eating at my desk. Even when I'm in the office, I do the same thing.
You're not alone in that. But the problem with that is then, it's twofold. One is you're supposed to be working at that space. But secondly, on a different tangent, when you're eating, you should be very just present to what you're eating, because we have a tendency to, when we're eating while we're working, not only are we not being super productive, but we're also eating, and we sometimes are grazing. Like, we're not focused on what we're eating. So when you're eating, you should just eat, like, be present to the food that you're consuming. Think about chewing, like, just eat. And if you can, socialize during that time. I know right now it's challenging because we're either at home or we're social distancing, but if you can socialize and have some interaction while you're doing that, that's even better. Like, just separate from work.
Got it. Good
And
tip.
I noticed, like, in your office right there, you have a window. That's the other thing, is making sure that your workspace is well lit. And natural light is the best. It reduces stress and it just promotes productivity. So having natural light is the best way to go. If you can't have natural light, or if, like, for like right now, it was interesting because I keep waiting for it to get lighter earlier, and it's just not happening yet. It's still dark until like after 7. And so if you're an early riser, especially if you're working, in the early hours because you're doing East Coast work or whatever, try to have a light that is bluish in color, in cool colors, and because that will promote some healthier productivity. So do a bluish light for when you're working, because it also promotes analytical thinking. They say that the warmer colors promote socializing and interaction. So if you're working, try to tend towards the bluish, cool colors. And it is important to have a lamp for just to counterbalance the natural light as it's coming and going throughout the day. And so but don't have it be overhead. So that's the other thing, is you need to have a lamp, and so that you can turn it on and off pretty easily, because overhead lights have a tendency to create glare on computer screens. And so for you, like, your window also is it's not even right behind you, which is great. It's kind of off to the side, right?
Yeah.
So, which is perfect, because people have a tendency, like, if I just turn like, with this light behind me, like my window, over here, like, it creates, a backlight, which doesn't really work very well, especially because we're doing so many Zoom calls with work and whatnot. So try not to have your window right behind you, and try not to have it right in front of the computer behind the computer where it's shining in your face. Because what that happens is it creates these glares, and it has some eye strain. So people will sit there and they're staring at the computer because there's glare. So being careful of positioning where you're putting your workspace in relation to your light is really, really important, because so many people, one of the biggest problems, not only posture, but is eye strain. Like, people just have a tendency to get really tired. And if you don't wear glasses, you can invest in some really inexpensive blue glasses, where it looks clear, but it has a blue filter on it to help your eyes adjust to all of the colors on a computer screen. Because we're not designed to be sitting staring at a computer screen all day.
We're not?
No, we are not. And so because we are now at home on our computers, there's a 20-20-20 rule. And so when you are staring at your computer, like, do every 20 minutes, stare for 20 seconds at something 20 feet away. And the reason we do want to do that is just to give our eyes and our brain a chance to look at something different, because we are creating eye strain, whether we want to admit it or not. We're 28 inches. Some people are even closer. You want to be at least 28 inches from your screen, but we're staring at this thing that we're not designed to stare at. So try to follow a 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, stare at something for 20 seconds that's about 20 feet away, just to give your eyes and the brain, a break. So paying attention to your light so it's not creating eye strain, and then just taking a break, and making sure that your computer screen is about 28 inches away from you. So these are things that people really know, but they don't really stop and address it. It's not of importance, but we've been doing this long enough now that it is time to take a break and reassess your workspace and your workstation, and making sure that you're setting yourself up for success and not long-term issues and creating some eye strain. So, and then standing desks are really, really popular. Have you heard about standing desks?
Oh yeah, I have one.
Yeah. So I have a very small home and I have 3 children. And so my desk is actually on a countertop in my kitchen, and it's a designated space, but it's so that I can stand, because I don't like to sit. I'm a very active person, and sitting just doesn't, I get very uncomfortable when I have to sit for very long, no matter how comfortable my chair is. So they make these elevated platforms that you can order online. And so if you're sitting, you can lower it. And if you stand, it just raises up. And it's wonderful because it adjusts based on what you're doing. Because some people don't want to stand all day, because that will create some issues as well, especially if you don't have good posture, even standing. So having something to where, now your standing desk, can you sit at it as well, or is it just strictly standing?
Well, stand.
Oh, perfect.
Yep, I can do both.
Oh, nice. So yours is the one that rises and lowers as well. Yes, perfect. Yeah. And if you don't want to order one, there's so many. I was looking at them last night. There's a lot of websites actually for, do it yourself, to create a standing workspace and a sitting workspace. And so try standing. If you've never had a standing desk, you should really, really give it a try. You'll find out that you're so much more dynamic and productive when your body is moving. And it's the same reason why I stand when we even do these, because when I sit, I just don't feel as energetic. I don't feel as engaged. So try, if you've never tried a standing desk, try doing it. And what you can do at home, before you invest in either making one yourself or buying one, is just if you're using a laptop or a monitor, just put it up on some thick books or a box or something, and just do a makeshift, like we were doing. I think when we first started doing this, I think you were using shoe boxes, right?
Hokas.
Yes.
Hoka shoe boxes. So I just have a few Hoka shoe boxes.
Right. I don't know. Do you like to run? So if you don't want to invest in, getting a platform that can rise and fall with you to sit and stand, just do a makeshift one, just to see how you feel and how you like it. And I will tell you, though, hands down, you're really going to like it when you have the opportunity and the ability to stand. And if you are doing a lot of phone calls for work, take that time to do phone calls. If you're not doing Zoom and you're just on your phone, get outside and go walk in your backyard, or walk around the block while you're doing the phone call. If you don't have to be taking notes or writing things down or assessing anything, but try to walk as much as you can if you're on the phone. Just get up and walk around your house. Do something to just move. And so along those lines, like, so many people just get caught up in sitting. And I realized I don't have to have an alarm on my phone or anything like that to remind me to move, because I naturally like to move. But some people will get so bogged down, scheduling these meetings back to back to back to back, that they don't schedule time to just take a break and just move. And so there's actually apps that you can get. So for iOS, there's one that's called Move. And for Windows, it's called Big Screen Reminders. And so there's regularbreaks.com. That's a website. So there's resources out there that you can give yourself to remind yourself to move. And it's not necessarily reminding yourself to move as much as it's reminding yourself to be aware of your calendar and your time and what you're doing. Because if you're not, we've just become so ingrained in just sitting there and working, and just doing either meetings or projects back to back to back. And so with that, one of the rules that I really like is a 28-2 rule. So what it is you can sit for 20 minutes and work. And then I'll encourage you to stand for 8 minutes and work, and then take a 2-minute break and walk, whether you're walking in your backyard, walking laps in your house, walking down the street, but move for 2 minutes, and you'll feel so much better. And if you don't have the ability to have a standing desk, then work for 28 minutes and then take a 2-minute break. And your production level will go so much higher. Your ability to sit there and concentrate will be so much better. I mean, how many times have you had a day where you're just working and you're not taking movement breaks, but then all of a sudden your brain just gets so drained and you get so tired? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, definitely, especially lately.
Because you're just working so hard and you're not taking the time to get your blood moving and pumping and just getting, your brain re-energized. And so it's really important to take breaks throughout the day. And if you struggle with that, then schedule them. Schedule your breaks, put them in your calendar, and you have to honor it. You really need to honor it. And I encourage people, walk for 2 minutes, at least every hour, if not every 30 minutes. And people are like, well, that's not very long. It's like, well, you don't need a lot. You just need just enough to just change things around, get the blood flowing a little bit.
Great idea.
It'll make a huge, and if you can get outside and get some fresh air and even a little bit of sunshine on your body, even better. I mean, it's cloudy today, which is wonderful. But just get outside and get some fresh air and just get a change of scenery and get the blood pumping again. So
awesome.
And so the next thing would be your chair. So one question I get quite often are the stability balls. What do I think of the stability balls as far as, for a chair? And I think that they're fine because it does create a little bit of movement. You have to use your core to balance it. They have made stability balls with a base where the ball sits in a base so it doesn't roll away from you. So I think that's good for some people because some people would probably roll off and not careful.
I have one with a base.
It's just a little safer. Mm-hmm. And people would think that the stability balls will promote better posture, and they necessarily don't. I mean, you can slump on a stability ball just like you can slump in a chair. And so most of the time what's happening is we're sitting at our computers, and I'm going to turn sideways. We have a tendency to roll our shoulders forward and kind of and just slump in our chairs. And so it's really important to have good lumbar support if you're going to be in a regular chair. And if you're going to be on a stability ball, making sure that you're engaging your core so that your lumbar is supported. And to elevate your sternum, keep your shoulders back. And so doing a posture check every hour would be good. And doing a posture check, all you're really doing is you're just making sure that your shoulders are rolled back and down and your sternum is elevated. And you can just take a few seconds and really focus on your breath. We've done, a segment on breathing, how important breathing is. So just take a minute.
I have at my desk.
Yes, breathe. Yes. I mean, because we're so stressed right now, we really are. And for anybody to deny that is silly. We're so stressed right now. And if we can just take time, and if you need to put a reminder in your phone or on your computer to breathe, do it until it becomes a habitual thing. But take time and focus on your breath. Just take a few minutes. But when you're doing your walking, the 2-minute walk, focus on your breath during that walk so that when you come back to sit down and work, you are going to be able to breathe better, because we have a tendency when we're stressed to really shallow breathe and breathe through in our chest and not our belly. So really remind yourself to belly breathe, do a few shoulder rolls back and down, just to really make sure that we're keeping our sternum elevated and we're not rolling our shoulders forward. So keeping it back and down. And then just doing some basic moves. Like you're going to put your arms out in front of you and just pull back like you're rowing. Like you're going to, like on a rowing machine, you can have your hands palms down or palms up. And you're just going to pull back and you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. And all that's going to do is remind you that you need to utilize those back muscles to keep good posture while you're sitting. And I mean, these are things that we should be doing even if we were in an office, you know, but at home we have a tendency to be a little more relaxed and lazy. And so we just really want to focus on that posture. And so just doing a rowing move to like pull your shoulders back and down and really engaging that back. And then just doing some rib cage mobility, like just bending to the side as far as you can. And if you want, you can reach your arm up over just to really open up those rib cages. And it'll feel so much better. And just doing simple movements like that in your chair are going to help you so much. Like just get the blood flowing, refocusing on your breath, and you'll be surprised at how much more productive you can be. Your cognitive ability to remember how to do things and be creative will be so much better. So much better. So just doing some basic movements like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some other things to be thinking about are when you're working, especially when we're doing these makeshift workspaces at home, is making sure that your elbows are at a 90-degree bend when you're working on your computer. And so if you're doing a laptop, like I have a laptop at home, so when I raise it so that my eyes are level with our monitors, because that's what we want, my keypad's up here. So doing an external keypad is actually very beneficial when you have a laptop, and they're not very expensive. So with laptops, I do encourage an external keyboard for when you're raising and lowering your laptop, because your monitor is part of it. You know, but if you have a separate system where your monitor is able to raise and lower, but you can just have your keyboard, then that's fine. But you want your arms bent at a 90-degree and making sure that you don't have a hard edge for your wrists, you know, so that we don't want carpal tunnel.
No.
But yeah, so keeping that monitor eye level, 28 inches away from it, arm at 90-degree bend. Like these are things I know people know, but it's just nice to have a fresh reminder of like, okay, this is really what I should be doing and not just being sloppy and lazy about my workspace since I'm at home.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And other things to think about are plants. Like if you don't have plants at home, like invest in a small plant. Having a green plant actually reduces stress. They've proven it. So having some greenery in your home will actually really, really help with production, creativity, balance, a harmonious nature. So just get some plants and have a plant.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, have a plant. And just keep your workspace uncluttered. You know, it can get cluttered so quickly. I mean, that can happen at home, that can happen at your workplace, but just keeping it uncluttered is really, really important. And if you're working from home, even having, you know, making it feel like the workspace as if you were going to workspace, having a little picture there of whether it be Kona or, you know, a family member or something that makes it feel homey. Even though you're at home, you want your workspace to be your workspace. So it's kind of nice to have a picture there. You know, just think at what you would be doing in a workspace and bring it home and create it at home. So having the pictures is nice. So just don't have it too cluttered because it can get a little kind of crazy. So, but
we have plants at the office, but I should say we had plants at the office.
They are proven to create a harmonious nature, balance, you know, creativity. So it's really important. So for those people that are working at home and don't have the ability to create a designated workspace, like I said earlier, you know, if you're doing things in short bursts, like some people are like, well, I like to work from my couch. You know, it's like, okay, well, then you can work from your couch, but I will encourage you to keep it very short, a very short interval, and then move to a different space in your home. But don't sit on the couch because your posture is not going to be very good. Our couch is typically where we just hang out, unplug, de-stress, and either watch TV or socialize. So if you're going to work from there, just keep it in a short interval. And if you're going to work from your dining room table, just keep it in a short interval. You know, everything's fine in short bursts. And And get really in tune with listening to your body. Too many people are disconnected. And if you just listen to what feels good, and where you're feeling productive and feeling like you're doing what you should be doing, then great. If you're uncomfortable, then just get up and move.
It's a good idea.
And aromatherapy, that was the last one I was going to say, is having aromatherapy. So citrus smells are really, really good because they do promote creativity as well. And so I like an essential oil diffuser is how I prefer. We do have candles, but sometimes candles can create, can put off smells that people just kind of can irritate people. But essential oils, I think, are really, really good. So doing a diffuser.
I'm allergic to them.
Are you?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep.
Like all oils or?
I'm allergic to a lot. Like when I got tested, like the essential oils was what was causing a lot of the outbreaks that I was having.
Well, I'm glad you figured that one out.
Me too.
So do candles bother you? Can you burn candles and that's okay?
No, but I don't.
Okay. Sometimes aromatherapies just trigger the brain to be just function a little bit differently. And so citrus smells are usually really, really good to lift spirits, improve thinking. So if you can't do aromatherapy or if you can't do oils, then you can try a candle.
I'll just eat an orange.
There you go. Fresh fruit zest is awesome.
Yep, I can do that for sure.
Well, I mean, that was a lot to cover to create a healthy workspace. And like I said, it was, it's a reminder for a lot of people, but really the key is just to create a space that's just for working and honor that in yourself because you'll be so much happier and so much more productive.
Yeah, I'm glad that I figured that out because I was just working in my kitchen. I like the bar area, and then I could stand or sit. But when I realized that we weren't going into the office anytime soon, and I had this beautiful view, I was like, why not just set up your office in the guest room for now until we are able to go back into the office and work from the office again.
Yeah, you're not alone in that. I think a lot of people were just kind of creating these makeshift spaces until, things opened back up to where they could go back. But we need to look at it as a more permanent situation because I do believe that a lot of employers are actually reassessing, if they're even going to open back up and have employees come back. And so really take it to heart and be diligent and be intentional about where you are working. If your intentions are to be productive for work, which I'm sure you'd like to be, as everybody would, then be intentional about that space.
Well, these were great tips. And I guess our next show is in February already. Hard to believe that we're going to be closing the door in January 2021.
Yeah.
We still have a couple weeks left, but our next show will be on February 2nd?
Yep, the 2nd. Yep.
And what do we have to look forward to?
Well, we're going to discuss staying fit at home, staying fit while you're working from home.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So these were great. Tips. These were great tips. And I hope that everybody takes something from this and remember the 28-8-2 rule.
Yep.
Was that right?
Yeah.
28-2?
Yep. Sit for 20, stand for 8, and then go for a walk for 2.
Great tips. Great information. This is a great way to start our year. And thank you for all that you give to our members, Sherry Ann. And I will see you again on February 2nd.
Thank you so much, Dana. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And this is the end of the show.